I am a certified scaredy cat by nature, so I'm going to share with you guys the foolproof ways that I have overcome a lot of my nature-based fears and become so much more comfortable and happy and curious around the wildlife and around certain things that I was terrified of before. Not all of us are naturally fearless, but I think so many people fear their fears so much that they can't even reflect on it, they can't even work on it. First off, before anything, I just want to tell you guys that you do have the ability to overcome your fears. You have the ability to work on these types of things and just get more comfortable and get better. And that's one of the best things about being a human is we have such a strong intellectual capability to learn and change ourselves. For me, I think being in connection with the earth and being able to respect other living beings is something that is deeply, deeply important to me. And so it was so important that I overcame a lot of my fears around the nature. And that's not to say that I am completely healed. You know, there are still things that trip me up. I still frequently, oh, there's a bug on me right now. So the first thing that you need to do in the path to overcoming your nature-based fear is recognize what kind of fear you have and why you're scared of that thing. You have to recognize this fear and pinpoint why you're scared of it, and that is such a fundamental step because you're automatically taking it and you're looking at it for its value and where you're at with it. When you do this, you're kind of separating it from yourself and from your inner subconscious. And so that is the crucial first fundamental step. The second step is you have to get curious about this fear. And this is probably the most important step that you can take. You have to say, for example, with me, snakes were a big fear of mine, and I had to get really curious about this fear. I had to get really curious about the animal, about the life cycle, and sort of learn to appreciate this as its own being, to sort of learn to respect it, see that there are so many different types of snakes. The majority of them are scared of humans. There are such a small percentage of them that are venomous to humans, but the ones that are venomous to humans, where are they? Where do they live? What's their life cycle like? Why do they attack humans if they do attack? In this day and age, humans do not have any very consistent natural predators. Whatever it is that's around nature has its own life cycle that's completely unrelated to you, and it is going about its business, and you have to learn to respect that life cycle. And if you are just deeply terrified and you want to at all costs stay out of its way, you need to at least educate yourself in the ways that you can do that and stay out of its way. And that brings me to my next point 3. You have to make a plan of preparedness. So if you encounter this nature-based fear, you know what to do. There are things that you can learn online about the best practices and the best course of action that you can take to put yourself in the most safe situation in any situation. This also may require you learning a thing or two. We are here to learn, humans, really. And so, for example, if you are scared of the ocean, you may have to learn how to swim. They have this saying around the military or whatever, is that in a dire situation, you fall not to your highest intellect, but to your lowest level of preparedness. So you can't expect to encounter this animal or encounter the situation that you are scared of for the first time and not feel panic in yourself. And this brings us to our last point, is number 4. You have to give yourself practice in encountering these situations. Let's just continue with the ocean example. You're scared of the ocean, you have to practice swimming, you have to practice looking at the waves, watching how they come in, learning how to time the sets. And that all requires practice and just experience of learning with it and repetition. Same with going outside in the night. If you are deeply terrified of the night, you're not gonna learn about what's crawling around you in the night and then go outside and still feel completely fine. You have to take steps to go outside and consistently do it and put yourself in a position where you're exposed to that thing that you are scared of, so that you become more and more comfortable with it and you can slowly bring your fear response down. I guess I'll give you guys a more recent story. I had a very, very deep fear of reptiles, of lizards and crocodiles, and especially snakes. And for me, when I came to Costa Rica and when I came to this jungle, I knew very, very well that there are a lot of snakes in this jungle. There's a lot of wildlife. What was that? I knew I was going to encounter reptiles, and I wanted to put myself in a position where I could start to overcome that fear. When I got here, it just so happened that my manager had a herpology specialization, which means he specialized in reptiles, snakes, and frog. I asked him if he would take the time to give me some mini lectures on each of these classes of animals so I could learn more about them. It was so fun to learn about, and we got out the identification book and we looked at all the different types of species that are in Costa Rica. I also have a little bit of a fear of the night, and I know that most of these animals are nocturnal. We would go on night walks once a week, and oftentimes we would encounter some form of a reptile, whether that be a snake, whether that be a frog, or lizards, of course, they're everywhere here. After we had the lessons and after I learned a lot about these, I would ask questions about, okay, what's the best course of action if I encounter a snake? What do I need to do if I see it, if it's eye to eye, if it's close to me? How can I move? What is the best temperament to have? Tell me everything. It's very, very rare that you get bit if you are being vigilant and protecting yourself and staying aware in situations. And I guess if we had a last little bullet point, a number 5, it would be that you are possibly confronting a fear. It is really, really important that you keep yourself aware and that you keep yourself in tune and in the moment so you can pay attention and be protecting yourself with all forms of your senses, your intuition and your internal guidance, especially in the first times that you're exposing yourself to something. You do have to respect your own limits as well. Respect in general is just a great thing to take into any fear that you have, because that is literally your evolution telling you that there is a danger here and that you should take precaution. And you do have to take precaution with these things. If you can think of any other fears that are surrounding the nature, I'm probably missing so many, but there's probably so many good ones. Talk about them in the comments. I love when you guys comment, and I love hearing your guys' opinions on things. I love reading things. I love when you guys fight in the comments, argue. I'm like, ooh, the drum. Whose side am I on? No, I try to stay neutral. Not. No, I'm kidding. If you're actually scared of something in nature, I hope this video could at least help you. I hope you find curiosity. I think that's the ultimate combat to your fears. The nature does love you, and she's not trying to kill you, I swear. I sent her a kiss from you, and